From 14 News, this is Touchdown Live in the Huddle, your live streaming pregame football show. Sponsored by Chick-fil-A West Evansville. Delivery from us to you. Order ahead through the Chick-fil-A app.
Hey everybody, and welcome in. Mitch, this is crazy. We are back for another episode, and in Indiana, this is our sectional championship preview episode. How did we get here so quick?
That is the question, brother. You're preaching to the choir. It seems like it was yesterday. You and I were in here setting up these camera shots, and now we've got trophies on the line. Definitely flies by.
Well, welcome into another week of In the Huddle. We thank you for joining us. We are going to, as always, have a good time tonight previewing some of the big matchups that are coming up on Friday.
Plus, as always, we're taking a deeper dive into the people who make up the teams with interviews and feature stories to shine a spotlight on the minds behind the magic that you and I get to see each and every Friday night.
You're exactly right, and we do it every week. Before we start breaking down these games, we've got to talk to last week's Player of the Week winner, don't we?
Sure do, Max. Wouldn't be a show without it. Remind me again who you talked to?
Oh, of course, Mitch. It's only Gibson Southern's new career all-purpose yards record holder, Sean DeLong. Check it out. Here with our Week 10 Player of the Week winner, Sean DeLong from Gibson Southern. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to present you with this. You're a Touchdown Live Player of the Week pigskin. Congratulations on your efforts. 97 yards in that game, 2 touchdowns. But most importantly, we kind of talked about over and over, you set that record, school record for career all-purpose yards. What was that like?
You know, it was really cool. I'm just glad we got the win, though.
Yeah, you guys, your season continues on and on here. What are you looking forward to getting done here in this week's sectional championship?
Just win a sectional. I mean, that's something, you know, I've always wanted to do, especially as a senior. It's, you know, it could possibly be my last game, and I'm going to make sure it's not. So.
Yeah, what's the mood like within the team in terms of leading up to this big game?
I think we're the most pumped up we've ever been. I mean, it's a super exciting game. I know it's sectional championship. There's going to be a lot of people here. It's going to be a very good environment.
Awesome. Thanks so much. That's another one with our Player of the Week, Week 10 winner, Sean DeLong. Thanks, Sean.
Well, Max, you and Sean looked a little cold there, buddy.
We most certainly were. I went out to talk to him earlier in the week, and that was when it was real chilly. We'll get to announcing our Player of the Week in just a moment, but it got me thinking. We've seen all different types of conditions throughout the year, from the games getting pushed back to later in the day because of 110-degree plus heat to now practices in the cold. Did you have a preference when you were out there?
So I was fortunate enough to experience about every type of weather imaginable. Obviously playing football here, and then up north in Muncie, got real cold up there. I got to be honest with you, neither are good, I'll be honest. But okay. I always thought that cold was the way to go. The way I saw it, I wasn't going to be cramping up in a snow game, and there's also kind of that intimidation factor. You know, if you can go out there and tough it out without any sleeves on or tights on, you look hard. Plus, if you're still playing when it's getting cold, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and just really quickly, going out to that practice, there was a lineman after in shorts and a T-shirt, and everyone else was gone, and he was just out there sprinting. I was like, man, what are you doing?
Big boys don't get cold.
I got to get better.
Big boys don't get cold. There it is. You heard your question on the
dog. All right, well, I also asked Sean and his buddy and another past Player of the Week winner, Tanner Boyd, about their preferences for play, just to see where their heads are at. Let's see what they said. Do you prefer to play in the cold or the warm?
Definitely the warm. Definitely the warm.
Okay, but it was 102 degrees earlier this year.
I know, but this sucks.
It is terrible. I'll agree with that. Standing here is awful.
It was like 102 at Mount Carmel at week 2, and I would never want to do that again. So I'm gonna have to go cold.
What's it like playing in the cold?
You know, I think it's maybe a little harder to catch the ball, but with adrenaline going, and usually if it's cold, it's postseason time. You're just trying to win, trying to move on to the next week.
We've seen a lot of conditions this year. Do you like when it's raining or not raining?
Definitely not raining, you know, especially with our offense, spread offense, like to pass the ball. So definitely not raining.
No rain, definitely.
Man, with Tanner, we just missed it at the end, but Tanner gives a little shiver. It sure did get chilly earlier this week.
Well, and Max, Sean did make an excellent point, though, like I just made. When it gets chillier, that means this playoff team means you're playing good. I love to hear it. The boys are pumped. Congrats again to Sean on his Player of the Week win. Good for you, sir.
That's right, Mitch. And now I suppose we've delayed it long enough, haven't we? Let's reveal this week's Player of the Week winner.
Enough beating around the bush. I'm hoping to get to it, Max. I've been sweating it up, counting the votes, and I have a winner for you. May I?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love nothing more than that.
Well,
Where are we
Max,
going, Mitch?
What do you say we mosey on out to Poseyville, because that's where you'll find this week's winner. Congrats to Liam Stone of North Posey.
Hey, congrats to him. What a big game that was for North Posey last Friday. And did Stone show up? He did. 6 for 9 passing for 107 yards. And on the ground, Stone carried the rock 25 times for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nice little cherry on top, 3 tackles on defense as North Posey wins a 35-34 overtime thriller against Mater Dei for the spot in Friday's sectional championship. We'll hear from Stone on next week's edition of In the Huddle.
Congratulations.
And coming up on In the Huddle, it's time for our Tri-State Insider segment. Mitch and I are revealing the game of the week and breaking down what we're looking for and what you can expect on Friday night.
And you can't break down the plays without talking to the men who come up with them. After we reveal the game of the week, we'll hear from both coaches to let us know what to expect. Stick around.
Welcome back in, everybody. If you're a returning viewer, you know exactly what time it is. Take it away, Tri-State Insider.
Max, thank you. If you're new here, this is where you and I reveal and break down our game of the week.
But why listen to us? Just 2 guys on the TV, right? Well, hold on a minute. My partner here was a state champ with Southridge and then spent his college years playing up at Ball State. And I personally spent my time in college breaking down sports for a little team called the Indiana Hoosiers. You may have heard of them.
I've maybe in passing, I don't know, something like that. So, we may look like a couple of young guns. We've also seen some ball. So, we'll talk about the biggest plays, who to watch out for, and of course, we'll finish up with me making the call who I think is going to come out on top.
Mitch, 0-2 in Indiana postseason picks. Yikes,
yeah,
buddy.
Easy now. I think I've got this one bagged up this week. I'm feeling it. You want to tell me where we're going? What are we doing?
Oh, I'm all over it, brother. This one's a blast from the past. We've been here before. Week 1 to be specific. We're going back to paradise,
That's
baby.
right.
Coach Doug Hurt looking to avenge that Week 1 loss to the Huskies. 21-14 in Week 1. In that matchup, we saw the Knights struggle a bit to get things rolling, but that's not been an issue in the back half of their season. Right now, Castle riding the wave of a 4-game win streak with sectional victories so far over Memorial and New Albany. But now the fun and games are over. We're playing for trophies.
Trophies is right. It's also a rematch from last year's tournament where the Huskies lost to Castle in the 5A sectional championship before the Knights took it all the way to semi-state. Coach Joey Paradin has led his squad to a 7-3 record, and after laying a lick on Central, they pulled out a close win against Floyd Central just last week.
Mitch, we've got 2 pretty battle-tested squads here. What's that tape showing you?
Right. Well, looking at the box scores for both these teams here, in general, North kind of comes out swinging, usually scoring in the first quarter and more often than not, finding the end zone more than once. Castle, on the other hand, looks like more of a slow burn, kind of tacking on points as you go, keeping their foot on the gas, kind of that death by 1,000 cuts, if you will.
So come Friday, what are you looking for early on?
Well, I'm glad you asked. This is kind of fun because, of course, it's the sectional championship. Sort of a moot point that both these squads are going to come out here playing hard. No one can afford to come out flat. It's for a trophy. If you're not pumped up for the trophy game, might be time to do a little bit of soul searching. So let's start off with North. I'm pulling clips from their loss to Jasper. It was the same thing we've been talking about. They put up 21 in the first half, 14 in the first quarter, but then the Wildcats were able to tie it up and kind of run away with it.
It seems like what they did right in this game and what they did right all season long was mix up their attack.
Absolutely. You see it right there. Big hit, but then here's a Caleb Harris tug running it in for a 4-yard touchdown after that nice little spin there. You just saw that. They aren't just dangerous on the ground, though. Watch right here coming up. Here's Sam McKinney, the QB, dropping back and finding Casey Hospelhorn, and he makes the move right there. Bam, right there. Pass number 14 for some extra yardage in their shutout win against Vincennes Lincoln.
So we know they can score, and clearly they can win. They're in the sectional championship after all, but you're watching especially close to that beginning of the game.
Bingo. I'll say it though, each of these teams has won and lost. You don't get here losing though. So I don't necessarily anticipate that either of them are going to just kind of lay down if they fall behind. They've both seen adversity. That being said, don't be surprised at all if this turns into a slugfest. But right quick, let's check out the Knights here. They've seen a lot of success this season when they've been able to spread teams out and get their ground game going. Right now, looking at clips against their matchup Memorial, there goes Maximus McCool toting the rock. It's not just him, though. Watch as he works his way out of bounds. Good run there. We've also gotten to watch him right here, number 17 coming up, Antonio Harris, all season long. We know he's a weapon. Here he is on the give, and on a 4th down for Castle, weaving his way in and out of defenders. They'll land him up there, and he works his way down the sideline. Look at that, rain and dives for the pylon. Touchdown right into Memorial territory.
In that particular game, they came out hot and poured on 14 in the first quarter before stealing the win away by 3 points.
Well, you got it. We just talked about it. Both teams are going to be jacked up, but who can come out ahead early might just be the deciding factor, and who gets to hoist that sectional championship trophy at midfield in the middle of paradise.
All right, Mitch, we've seen the tape. We've talked X's and O's. It's time for Carter's call. Who's it going to be?
Well, let's check out our tail of the tape here. Looking purely at stats here, these two squads are almost identical. On the ground, Castle takes the cake by just 6 yards. Through the air, North pulls it out by, you guessed it, 6 yards.
Of course. They quite literally separated by 0.1 yards per game and just 2 points per game. It's safe to assume we're looking at a close one here. For the Huskies, look for Sam McKinney to air it out and also keep it on the ground using his legs with a healthy mix of reads. And speaking of the ground, keep your eyes on guys like Kanan Northington, Jason Rucker, and Caleb Harris.
Well, that's a team that can and will score. For Castle, we already mentioned him. Keep your eyes on McCool, Harris, and Bowden Morgan under center. Now, he led the charge last week against the Bulldogs. Not sure at this point if he'll be getting the nod on Friday night, but definitely something to watch. Now, I'll admit it, I was burned early on this season. I picked Castle to pull out the win over North in Week 1, and they proved me wrong. But this game is not that Week 1 matchup. This one's for a trophy, and this one's just another step into getting yourself one of these right here. I need to watch my cords right there. You know, I've been saying it the entire time. It's win or go home right now, and every game from here on out is just practice.
Oh, the
trying
sparkle.
to get yourself to Lucas Oil. Watch your eyes right there.
Yeah.
I've been saying it week in and week out. You know, every single week on the Hoosier State is win or go home. However, like I said, Week 1, I'll admit it. I took a loss right there. I picked the Huskies, but will lightning strike twice? I've thought it over.
Okay.
I think not, baby. I'm doubling down from Week 1 to the sectional championship. You don't get here on accident. Both these squads are tough, but give me those Knights at home when they kick off in paradise.
All right, so the call is in, Mitch, but you know what we haven't done? It's been a bit since we've talked about our Kentucky squads, especially in Owensboro. We last visited them for the game of the week when the Aces and Devils faced off.
Yes, but now with playoffs in Kentucky starting this week, it was time for us to pay a visit. Let's start with those Red Devils. Now, expectations are high for Owensboro Senior High. Now, the Red Devils are rolling into the postseason, having won 5 out of their last 6 games. Nothing to sneeze at there. That coming after they dropped 3 out of their first 4 to some very tough competition.
Head coach Jay Fallon says that really toughened them up, and they've played much better in winning their district championship.
We felt like those early games would give us the experience that we needed against great competition to have a chance to be playing well this time of year. Stumbled a couple weeks ago against Madisonville down there, but bounced back nicely against Henderson and excited for the opportunity to be headed into the playoffs and with a chance to host a couple of home playoff games.
I feel like it shaped us into the team we are today, made us learn from the mistakes, and gave us what we needed to do just to end the season.
Well, Owensboro is no stranger to deep playoff runs. 3 years ago, the Devils made it to state. In the last 2 seasons, they made it to the semifinals. Overall, they have 4 state titles and 4 runner-up finishes.
From the time we started lifting weights in January on through spring ball, June workouts, preseason, and then as the season gets rolling, we want to set ourselves up so that we're giving ourselves the best opportunity possible to be playing our best football this time of year. 5A is as good and as deep as any class in the state of Kentucky, and you know, once you get through the first round of the playoffs, there's no easy games.
That's the start of the playoffs. We respect everybody, so we just got to work day by day and look at the film and see what we have going on and stay working. I feel like we got some great chances, great players, and we got a chance to do something great this year.
Well, Owensboro hosts Ohio County in the first round of the playoffs on Friday.
All right, now let's move to the other Owensboro squad at Owensboro Catholic. This team has been dominant throughout the season.
Well, they sure have, Max. Their closest game all year, that would be in the win against Owensboro by 5. Aside from that, the Aces have been running away with games, which sets them up quite well for the postseason.
We went into this season with several goals. The first one to win the city county, and we took care of that in the first 5 games. And then in the next 5, won the district championship and, finished with a 10-0 season. which set up our RPI here in Kentucky. They have the RPI system. Gave us the #1 overall RPI in 2A football. And so now, our path is set up to where we could stay home, all the way through the playoffs.
Definitely an advantage there. One of the guys who's been keys to the Aces' success this year, along with Brady Atwell, is William Carrico, or Tut, as they call him. The Tut Carrico isn't too worried about home field advantage. He's just ready to put some finishing touches on their already stellar season.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice advantage. Either way, we'd still win, and we'd make it to the state championship. We're going to prove that to people, and we're going to get there. We're going to win it. We still have 2 to 3 minutes per game where we're going back to the beginning of the season, but we're going to get that cleaned up in the next 4 games leading up to the state championship, and I bet it will be cleaned up this week. We got what we need. We have no holes. I mean, that's a great thing about our team. Every single position, we have a extremely capable varsity player.
Well, up first for the Aces, a matchup with Caldwell County. Coming up on In the Huddle, don't go anywhere. We've got the coaches heading up both sides of our game of the week. We talked to them at the beginning of the season. Now we'll dig into their sectional championship game plans when we come back.
Plus, we're taking a walk down memory lane, going over the biggest plays of last week. You know where to find me. I'll be coloring at the Telestrator. Stick with us.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. We've talked game of the week already, gotten our breakdown from Mitch, so now let's hear from the heads of these programs, their coaches, starting off with the visitors, the North Huskies. It's a rematch for these two teams after they faced off in the first week of the season for both Castle and North. As 5A teams, they had a bye heading into the sectionals. The bye week was nice leading into playoffs, but now North coach Paradin's squad is ready to roll after taking down Floyd Central.
Being able to get healthy before we played Floyd Central last week was, very important for us. These last 2 weeks preparing for, hopefully a deep run. We kind of knew that if we were to get out of that game against the Floyd, that we'd be playing Castle most likely, and so sets up for another sectional rematch. From last year, sectional final, and both teams coming in 7-3, and it's just going to be an exciting game.
For Castle, with the teams meeting for a second time this season, it's a shot to get back at the Huskies, but I asked Coach Hurt, what's different this time around?
I hope a lot, Max, but I'm not so sure because they're pretty good. They're an outstanding football team, and they've got players in virtually every position, and we're going to have our work cut out, but I can promise you we're going to show up and do the best job we can. We've got to find a way to stop the run, and they ran up and down the field. They didn't stop. We didn't stop North. They stopped themselves. Otherwise, it would have been an even longer night than it was. They're really good, and they've got some great players.
Of course, as it's our game of the week, join me tomorrow live on 14 News at 4, 5, and 6 as we will continue to preview the game. Now let's send it over to Mitch Carter. He's camped out at the Telestrator with a great batch of plays to break down from Week 11.
Well, thank you, Max. We've talked a lot about the Knights and the Huskies, but real quick, let's take a broader look around the tri-state. Starting off, you've got to give the nod to our game of the week last week in Sectional 32, an absolute barn burner in Du Bois County as the Raiders hosted the Patriots. Patriots ball here. Let's go ahead and roll that clip. Running a little wishbone, and it's a mess inside the pile right there, but watch as I look right here and stop. You guys see what I'm seeing right there? Y'all seeing that? It looks like a ball to me. And it looks like one Raider right here, number 8. I think that's Yamil Arroyo. We know him. We've said his name a couple times here, but he's looking here to make his presence felt on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to clear this out. Let's go ahead and roll it. Now watch right here as number 8 hits the old scoop, and he's off to the races, baby. Nice little block there by number 2, and it's off, baby. He's cooking all the way home to the crib. It is pandemonium in the student section right there. Everybody's piped up, and rightfully so. Big play, but it would not be enough. The Patriots hang on to take away the win, 23-20, and punch their ticket to the sectional championship. Well, speaking of barn burners, this next one comes from one of the best games we've seen all year long. I'm talking about the sectional 40 matchup we saw at the Wrights Bowl last Friday that went into overtime. Now, this one was chock full of highlights, but let's roll the clip on the one I decided. Right here, here's the snap and the go-ahead give to Jed Galvin. Stop right there. You're already losing. Jed Galvin back here, number 33, you can see his arm back there hiding behind this absolute convoy of blockers here. He's already smoking number 10. You've got 1, 2, 3 more right here leading the charge for him. The counter working to perfection. Chef's kiss. All they need now is a little razzle-dazzle from Galvin, and it is absolutely curtains. Let me clear this out here, and let's go ahead and roll it. Watch as number 33's got one man to beat, and you know he's done it all year. There he is. Weak little tack on the legs. Nothing to it right there. Goes right through it all the way in for the score. This one, though, would come down to the wire, and North Posey would win it. 35-34 over Mater Dei. First ever win for the Vikings over the Cats, and North Posey is on to the 2A sectional championship game. And for our last one here, I've got something a little bit special for you. We're headed back into DuBois County for this matchup between Memorial and Jasper. Tigers versus Wildcats, and all we're looking at today is special teams. Let's go ahead and see that first one. It's a field goal attempt here. Stop right there already. When I was in college, right, my special teams coordinator referred to these special teams plays as one-shot plays. Now, I've referenced this on the show before, but basically what that means is what it says. With special teams, you get one shot. It's not like offense or defense where after a busted play, you might get a second, third, fourth down. You get one go at it, and they can completely turn the tide of the game depending on how they're played out. Now, right here, I want you to watch number 7 for the Wildcats right there. I'm all here for it. Let's go ahead and roll the clip. I'm going to clear it out. And watch the effort right here. He shot out of a cannon on the snap, and it's a block, baby. I bet that young man runs track. If he doesn't, coach, get on him. He should. That's all effort and Wildcat ball. But wait, we got one more for you here. Look at that punt. It's a beauty. And right there, Desmond Johnson has to track it down, fumbles it a bit, takes off here towards the camera, and wait for it, stop right here. Now, poor Johnson, turning and running into a wave of Wildcats here. 1, 2, 3. And you see he's kind of upright right there. You see his position's kind of like this, hitting like a turn like that. Not where you want to be with other guys running full speed at you, full momentum, running straight into you. Let's go ahead and roll it here with this last one. There it is. Now, I'll admit, I didn't pick this one because of the same cool reasons and finesse as the last one. I just kind of liked it. What a hit by a few Wildcats on the coverage, but it wasn't for nothing. Johnson might feel that for a while, but they escape with the win. Memorial taking it 17-14 and punching their ticket to play for a trophy.
All right, great, Mitch. Next on In the Huddle, it's our favorite part of the show, bar none. Mr. Aaron Hancock is taking us out of the huddle and into the red zone, baby. Check which player he was able to get a hold of this week.
And we'll break down the schedules for the other games in our area, as well as a breakdown of the brackets so far. It's postseason play for Indiana, Kentucky, and Illinois. We'll tell you who's on track for trophies and how they'll get there when we come back.
Welcome back in, everybody. Now, it truly wouldn't be an episode of In the Huddle without our In the Red Zone segment.
Not at all, and our Aaron Hancock is back. He hit the road, scouring the tri-state to find out who he's going to take in the red zone. Aaron, let's find out.
Hey guys, we are here with Caleb Harris from North, a senior, and welcome Caleb to our In the Red Zone segment.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
All right, we are good, and let's get this puppy going. All right, what is your favorite pregame hype-up song?
I don't know. I kind of like silence. I like to get locked in, you know.
All right, that's a different answer. I haven't heard that one before. What is your favorite pregame meal?
I would say the spaghetti that we get. They feed us almost every game, but sometimes we get spaghetti. It's good.
Awesome, awesome. All right, who is the biggest team prankster?
I'll probably say Alex Heck. He's such a goofy person.
What is your favorite Coach Paradane quote?
Jesus criminy.
Who do you consider you guys' biggest rival?
I would say Castle because they're just a better team. But Central was ours, but I would say Castle now.
What is your favorite NFL team?
The Bills right now because I'm in love with Stephon Diggs.
Oh, yeah, he's tough. All right, we'll go off field here. What about favorite TV series?
Stranger Things. It's pretty weird, but I like it.
All right, how about some food, ketchup or mustard?
Definitely ketchup, mustard.
All right, man. Well, that sounds good. Thanks, Caleb, for joining us on In the Red Zone.
Sir, thank you.
Yep. All right, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Aaron. I definitely agree with Caleb there. Ketchup over mustard all day. That's it. That's just me personally.
On a bratwurst? I'm kind of a mustard guy, dude.
Oh, all right, well, switching it up. All right, maybe we need to get more specific on that question.
Sure.
Who knows? Always a blast. Thank you, Aaron. It's time now to break down our local Friday night schedule.
Well, let's start off with Indiana here. We've been saying it. It's sectional championship time in the Hoosier State. Everybody knows. Let's start off with 2A. We're checking out sectionals 39 and 40.
Yeah, for 39, we've got the 10-1 Triton Central Tigers taking on the 5-6 Eastern Musketeers.
And then in 40, we've got our neighbors in Posey County, the 10-1 Vikings, hosting the also 10-1 Paoli Rams. Vikings, like we just showed you, coming off a big OT win against Mater Dei last Friday night.
Winner will meet in the regional on November 10. Kickoff will be at 7 p.m. Now, to 3A in sectional 29, the championships comes down to 10-1 Tri-West Hendricks, the Bruins hosting the 9-2 Monrovia Bulldogs. This should be a good one up north.
I agree. Well, now to our tri-state teams, sectional 30. We've talked about them all season long. The Gibson Southern Titans are hosting the Vincennes Lincoln Alice's at the Jewel on Friday night. 9-2 versus 8-3.
Winner will hoist the sectional trophy and gear up for a regional matchup again on November 10th against the winner of 29.
And let's stay in 3A here for a second still. We're also keeping an eye on sectionals 31 and 32. In 31, Indian Creek hosting Batesville. The Bulldogs sitting at 10-1 and the Braves a solid 8-3.
But the real kicker here, and the one we're excited about, the Patriots of Heritage Hills taking the bus ride up to Scottsburg to take on the Warriors. Heritage Hills fresh off a tight win, 23-20 over Southridge in last week's game of the week, and looking to knock off 7-4 Scottsburg.
Should be a good one. Winners of both those matchups, we've already said it, they'll meet just like the others November 10th at 7 p.m.
All right, moving right along to Class 4A. Let's start in Sectional 23. It's a big one. Greenwood taking on East Central. Mitch, the Trojans are the team that has been ranked ahead of Wrights all season long in that Class 4A poll.
Sure have. Wrights spent the season as number 2. They take on Memorial at Enloe Field. The 8-3 Tigers will try to shock the undefeated Panthers. Kickoffs at 7.
Mitch, if this one plays out, don't want to look too far ahead, but if both undefeated teams advance, it'll set up an all-timer of a matchup between two undefeated squads at the Wrights Bowl with the trip to state on the line. But, of course, you can't get ahead of yourself.
No, you most certainly cannot. Records go out the door. It's win or go home. Everyone giving their all. Expect everyone to come out piped up. Let's see it.
Moving on to our final class, that would be 5A. Starting in Sectional 15, it's the 9-1 Bloomington South Panthers taking on the 6-4 Owls of Seymour. The winner of that game will go on to face whoever comes out on top of the Sectional 16 matchup.
And who do we have there? Well, it's our game of the week. The Castle Knights hosting the North Huskies. Same record at 7-3. We've said it before. It's a rematch of the first game of the season. One that North won 21-14. Will history repeat itself? You never know with the spot in the regional championships on the line. Kickoff, of course, is at 7.
All right, so that's a look at our Indiana games on the docket, but still a lot more action with playoffs starting in Kentucky. We start with Class 3A. Adair County is visiting Union County. That game kicks off at 6 o'clock. The Braves trying to rebound after their first loss of the season. Class 2A, Caldwell County. The Tigers face the undefeated Owensboro Catholic Aces. That kicks off at 7. Moving on, Class 5A, Ohio County at Owensboro. We previewed both the Owensboro teams, the Red Devils, trying to stay hot. Meanwhile, Class 6A, Warren Central will face the Colonels at Henderson County. That kicks off at 7:30. Mitch, any more for us?
Of course I do. You know, we can't forget about our friends over in the land of Lincoln. But first, 2 more from Kentucky. First up in 6A, we've got the Trojans of North Hardin heading into Panther territory. Davis County sitting at 4-6, looking to pick up a win here against their 3-7 opponent. And then in Class 5A, we've got our Apollo Eagles taking the bus ride to Bowling Green. The Purples looking to move to 8-3 with Apollo, hoping to notch win number 4. Now, as promised, over to Illinois, Class 3A second round matchup Saturday at 2 o'clock. It's Mount Carmel, the Golden Aces, hosting Sullivan, Akaw Valley, Bethany, the Redskins. Now, both these squads sitting at 9-1 should be a good one over there in Illinois.
You got that right. And wow, what a packed slate. Thank you all so much for watching this week's episode of Touchdown Live in the Huddle, our pregame show. We hope you enjoyed our in-depth look at some of the best football teams across the tri-state.
Oh, we sure enjoy giving it to you. We'll be back here one more time. I'm sad about it too. Next week, our final episode of In the Huddle for this football season. Of course, as always, got to say it, this would not have been possible without our entire production crew and marketing team. Thank you all for all the work you've put in to make this whole thing happen.
And for highlights of all your favorite games, of course, be sure to join us back here for our Touchdown Live show every Friday night on our 14 Sports app at 10:35. And right before that, we'll feature our express version on 14 News at 10. We'll see you there.